Tom, thanks very much for being with us this morning. As you know, I've got 3 questions for you, and I'll start with the first, which is, what do you like about your work?
There are so many things I like about the work that I do. I've been incredibly lucky. I wake up every day feeling that life's a gift. And it's the combination of working on things that are challenging, it's working with people that are interesting and that I like, it's producing outcomes that are good for either my clients or my own business or for our society. There's so much to like about what we do. If I could do it without income, I would, because I enjoy it.
Fantastic. The next question I've got for you is, how did you start out?
Oh dear, I was a bad boy. I got expelled from my 2 grammar schools. I got in the street gangs in the East End of London. I had run-ins with the police on many occasions, and I went to work in the street market selling jeans and t-shirts. I worked in Romford Market, Pitsea, Mile End, Petticoat Lane, and made quite a decent living out of it for a spell. But it's not much of an intellectual challenge to buy a t-shirt for 50p and sell it for £1. And when you've repeated that 1,000 times, you've got 500 quid, but you've not got a lot of brain extension. So it got to a point where the recession had come in as the first oil crash. It was winter, it was freezing cold. The sheet of my stall had filled up with icy water up above, and I was a little bit too late with my stick to push it out and tip the water out to make it safe. And it split and it came through and it drenched me with icy water. And that was it. That was a decision point to stop the market work. And I gave back all the gear that I had on sale or return. I sold a van, and I looked around for another job. And a friend of mine was a computer operator, and he introduced me by letting me in the middle of the night through the back door of a organisation, a sharp name, to look at their computer suite. And I had no idea. To me, it could have been Swahili. It could have been on Mars. I had not a clue about this computer thing. I went for 6 interviews, and by the 6th interview, I'd worked out the wrong answers. And a man called Chris Wells, who I will forever be grateful for, ever grateful to. Chris was the IT manager, the operations manager for Great Universal Stores. And I went to an interview with him in Cleveland Way in London, which I'm sure has now been gentrified. And Chris interviewed me, and I answered all the questions in the right way. And he knew that I was full of bull. And I knew he knew, and he knew I knew he knew. And he still offered me the job. And I tell you what, you can't get a break like that. He was so kind to me and allowing me to try to learn about computers. I then just consumed every bit of knowledge I could get. I worked extra shifts, I read every book, I asked questions. I must have driven people mad as an operator, because I was just interested in everything and how it worked. And that was the start of what became a long career in technology.
Yeah, fantastic. And the last question I've got for you this morning, Tom, is, what would you say to someone starting out today?
Oh, learn and learn and learn and learn. Learning is absolutely, it's superb for the individual. It's also brilliant for helping you to be articulate in a conversation with potential employees, employers, colleagues, whoever you're going to be working with. So there's a massive focus on learning, and believe that you can do more. It doesn't have to be that you know everything today. If you've got an aspiration, try it. Go after what you might be interested in, and ask questions. Ask as many questions as you can of as many people. And sometimes they'll tell you things that you want to hear, and sometimes they'll tell you things you don't want to hear. Work hard, play hard. Only do the things that you enjoy. And I've got 5 or 6 criteria that I use for choosing the work that I do. And the number one criteria, I must be able to do it. I must be confident that I can do it. This is for someone who's in an established career and is moving around. The next one is it must stretch me. It must give me something that is more of a challenge. I must come out of whatever I'm doing with more learning. It's got to be something that I feel is worthwhile. The purpose that I'm spending my time on has got to be valuable. I've got to enjoy the people that I work with, and I've got to feel good about the cause of the organisation that I work with. So I won't work, for example, with a tobacco manufacturer. Simply morally, I think it's just a wrong thing to do in the world. It's got to fit with my family circumstances. I've got to have a work-life balance that allows me to be good with the people that I love. And if all those things fit, then it's got to be affordable. It's got to pay enough for me to pay the bills.
Yeah.
But money is the last criteria always. If any of those first sort of housekeeping, hygiene questions are met with a no, it's not for me. It's not for doing.
Yeah. So it seems also what you're saying to that person starting out today is, don't be afraid to have your own criteria. Don't be afraid to, have the, the criteria that are yours. It's got to do something for you as well as something for the other person as well.
Absolutely. My father, when I was first looking at going out to work in a more serious way, because I'd worked from the age of about 7 or 8, paper rounds and helping out in shops and market stalls and things like that. But when I really started to sell my time, which is what we do when we work, we sell our time for someone else's purpose. My dad just said quietly, he said, "Tom, when you look back, you don't ever want to regret the way that you spent your time. It's finite. You only get one shot at life. So make sure that when you're looking back, you feel that you did with your time something that you feel right about, feel that was valuable." And that makes it a much more interesting transaction. It's very easy for youngsters when they're first going into work to follow what they think society expects of them. Yeah, I have to go to work, I have to get a job, and in a job I will be the subordinate, I'll be told what to do. Well, to an extent, you can't avoid that. But boy, do you want to make sure that you enjoy the work, that you find it interesting, that you enjoy the people, that they're fun to be with, that they respect you and you respect them, and you appreciate the knowledge they have, and they appreciate what you're doing to contribute to their enterprise.